Tough new restrictions have come into force in France.
Into the European Union is being severely restricted to contain the spread of the coronavirus.
For at least the next 15 days, our movements
Within
will
minutes
be
of the deadline,
reduced.
extra police were out questioning
Belgium
people
has
still on the
also
streets.
tonight said that everyone must stay at home from midday tomorrow for almost 3 weeks to prevent the spread of the coronavirus.
It's like things are back to normal. It's like COVID is not a thing. Hi, we are Will and Josie.
In 2021, we decided to leave Australia behind and move to Sweden, where Josie is from.
After road tripping around Sweden in our tiny Peugeot throughout 2021, we decided to upsize and bought a camper van to tour around Europe.
So join us as we take you to some incredible places, eating delicious foods and meeting some unforgettable people. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
If you're anything like us, we have been a little bit hesitant to travel over the last couple of years, and obviously at certain times we were not able to travel whilst we were in Sweden. But things are starting to open up again, and we just travelled all the way from Sweden down to Montenegro by car.
Yeah, we crossed 6 European borders by land.
And we're going to tell you exactly what that was like to cross over every single border. Because we were nervous to leave Sweden and get stuck at certain borders or anything like that. So
I spent so much time on different countries' government websites, looking up what the current restrictions are in the country, what you need to enter the country. And for me, as a Swede that is a member of the EU and the Schengen, I know that I would have had it easier to travel than Will, but because Will is Australian, we weren't really sure how are they going to treat that.
Yeah, what kind of hurdles we were going to have to overcome. You know, there were stresses involved, so we're going to go through what every single country was like, what the borders were like, and hopefully give you guys some insight and some peace of mind of travelling if you guys are thinking of travelling by land, whether you're a European Union member or whether you're an Australian or a foreigner from outside the EU like me. All the information that we're giving you is valid whether you are vaccinated or unvaccinated, at the moment at least. We started off in Sweden, as we said. We took the ferry down to Poland and we took the night ferry. So we got to the ferry at about 11 o'clock at night and boarded. Everything was electronic. We scanned our passports electronically, manually. There was no one there to do it for us. And we had to have a rapid antigen test to get into Poland.
Now, that could not be older than 48 hours, or a PCR that's not older than 72 hours.
But when we went there was no one there to check our COVID certificates. There was no one to ask any questions. There was no one to show it to. Well, when we landed at Poland, we drove off the boat and we continued onto the road.
So no COVID pass check, no passport check?
No, anything. Did we do something wrong?
Maybe.
No, we just drove off the truck. What else could we have done? It was an absolute breeze going from Sweden to Poland, and then from Poland we drove into the Czech Republic.
Another crossing with no checkpoints. No check.
No checkpoints. Josie, good one.
We didn't even really realize that we had crossed the border, so we were just driving, and then there was a roundabout and it said Prague, I think, to the left, and then we turned. And then after a couple of kilometers, we were in Czech, and it's like, oh shit, that's the sign, that's the border. So
yeah, we were in there without even realizing it.
Yeah.
So obviously no COVID check, no passport check. Obviously no passport check. That's a given within the Schengen states. But to not be checked for a COVID certificate, that was surprising.
So everything that I looked up before traveling, I think that applies more to when you fly into the country.
Now we spent a few days in Prague just traveling around and enjoying the scenery and the architecture and the beautiful city that is. So if you want to check that vlog, check that one out up here. But guys, Czech was very easy.
Yeah, it was. And nobody checked at restaurants or cafes, nothing like that. They don't check your COVID certificates, your COVID EU passport. They don't check anything like that. But leaving Czech, we were going to go into Austria. And if you've been following the news, you know that Austria has been very strict with the whole COVID thing.
Austria will become the first European nation to make vaccinations compulsory.
And we were getting ready to travel through 4 countries in a day. As we're preparing to drive through 4 countries in one day, that is Czech, Austria, Slovenia and Croatia, we need to get a PCR test.
Whether we even need one, because we haven't been checked at any borders yet.
I'm worried about Austria though.
Yeah.
If you're only passing through Austria, it says on their government website that you don't need a test, but we need it for Croatia. Not the best place to drive a camper van.
Cobblestone alleyways of Prague.
Yeah. First test center we went to was in the middle of the city and we couldn't find parking for the van. We decided that we're gonna drive towards the border to Austria and see if we can find something on the way.
It's windy out here today, guys. It is windy. That's why my hair's like this. Getting closer to Austria. Josie's getting more nervous by the second.
How you feeling?
I think it'll be okay. We're going to stop in about 28 minutes and get our RAT tests.
I think we have about 6.5 or 7 hours of driving.
It's going to be a long day, a long evening, a long night.
Bumpy ride.
Sorry, everyone. Oh. Ooh. Almost hit the pole with the mirror. Woo.
Minor inconvenience. The test center that we went to closed at 3:30 and it's now currently about 4:30. So we gotta try and find another one. Deutsch? Ein bisschen.
Vojenská nemocnice, Zábrnovice.
We think we found another one, but it closes in 17 minutes. So hurry, 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 hurry. So we haven't found a COVID center that's open. We'll have to find somewhere to spend the night and then get a test first thing in the morning.
Now guys, just quickly I want to say, Josie spent over an hour trying to find a campsite for our camper van in Czech in February. It was absolutely impossible. We were lucky enough to find one, but just keep that in mind that if you're not in the summer season, it's going to be really, really hard to find a campsite. If you are camping or doing camper van, caravan, that kind of life, just keep that in mind.
Yeah.
Waiting for the COVID test. How do you feel doing the testing? Do you get nervous that you're going to get sick or?
I'm not, to be honest, because I think I have the clothes on and I'm protected.
Yeah.
But it's kind of risky still.
Yeah, definitely. Well done?
Good. Well done.
We just got our COVID certificates. We are negative. Woo! 2 years of a pandemic and we still haven't got COVID. We're about half an hour from the border to Austria. I'm feeling super anxious and super nervous, but I'm crossing my fingers and holding my thumbs as we do in Sweden. We've made a reservation at a campsite in Zagreb so that we can prove to the Austrian authorities that we're not staying in Austria. Austria, here we come.
So we're getting closer. Going through this old abandoned whatever this is.
Is this the border? No.
No, this is the border here. There's a line on the map.
Okay. Oh, we're entering Austria. Republik Österreich. And now all the signs are in German, which is good because I can understand them.
So how many countries is that, baby?
24 for me.
15 for me. Yoo! Having that COVID test.
Completely unnecessary.
This is what crossing borders has been like for us the entire trip.
It's like things are back to normal. It's like COVID is not a thing. And I don't really...
But they say that you have to go through all these runarounds, you have to get things done in order to be able to enter, and then there's no one to police it.
I think it's going to be a little bit different when we enter Croatia. Croatia is not in the Schengen, so there might be a bit of a difference at the border there. Same with Montenegro, when we're entering Montenegro.
Yeah.
But yeah, so far so good, and I'm feeling very relieved, to be honest.
Next border, Slovenia.
I know it's nothing new, but it's so good to see you.
Hello Vienna, see you another time. Really wish we could stop, but unfortunately this time we can't. We have to come back another time.
We're only allowed to stop for 2 reasons, and that is petrol and rest. We stop for 1 second just to put our feet on Austrian soil.
It's just us two, me and you.
Franklin is struggling a little bit in these mountains, but it is so beautiful.
The mountains, the trees, the scenery, it's just...
I feel like the camera's not doing it justice.
Still got a few hours to go before we're in Zagreb, so I think we're maybe about an hour away from Slovenia.
The best thing about traveling in a camper van is that you have your kitchen and you can, even though we don't have electricity, we have this handy thing that you can make coffee even though you don't have electricity, because we always have the gas.
She put too much water into the coffee. No point crying over spilled coffee. Thank you, baby.
Welcome.
Coffee is ready. Back on the road.
It's just us two, me and you.
Austria is offering some beautiful weather. The sun's out and it's about 17 degrees, so.
It's the hottest we've had in a few months.
And my dad just sent me a message saying it's snowing back home, so I'm very happy about this. So we're at the Slovenian border now. Let's see how we go.
Looks a bit more backed up than the other borders, so we might actually be getting checked here.
Okay, so a bit different than the other borders. That's pretty high, I think. So we need this tax mark to put on the car so that we can go through the tolls at the freeways. So we're just going to do that now. We got the vignette and we're now going through the Slovenian border. Third country today.
We kind of just snuck up the middle lane between all the cars. We had the vignette. We didn't show any COVID certificates or anything like that. No one stopped us, so I think we were doing the right thing. We'd seen other cars crossing over without speaking to anyone who had stopped at the shop to get a vignette, so hopefully we did the right thing there. But Slovenia is the only country that checked us for a COVID certificate when we were at a petrol station.
We just had to show our COVID passes for the first time here in Slovenia at a petrol station. They checked everyone that was going in.
Glad we got it now. Didn't think we'd need it to pay for fuel, that's for sure.
Maybe to enter the country, but not to pay for fuel. Croatia, here we come.
Sunset's just... Look at these clouds in front of us.
Unfortunately, we're in a bit of a rush because we're on our way to the campsite in Zagreb, so we don't have time to stop. Another time, Slovenia. And here's the Croatian border. It looks a bit more hardcore than the other ones we've gone through today, so...
Well, we were expecting that. We're expecting that we'll have to show our passports. Oh, you got your passport?
Yeah, it's in my handbag, both of ours.
Thank you.
Is that it? Okay, so Croatian border, we only need to show our passports.
No COVID pass for any entries. Just the petrol station in Slovenia, guys.
Did you get a stamp?
Nope. Holy sugar plums. We got traffic in Croatia.
Don't know really what's going on here, but we'll just wait patiently. There's a sign up there, I don't know if you can see it, but it says Enter Croatia. So we may not even have crossed the border yet.
Maybe not. Hey guys, we got new lights.
Oh yeah, I forgot about those.
So we should use them. We just want white.
What?
Yeah.
There we go.
That's much better.
Yeah, sorry about that. We have to turn off the van so it doesn't overheat. So this is probably the actual border. I think people are showing their passports, so I got them out again.
Yeah, so we must have been leaving Slovenia before, and now we're entering Croatia. Hopefully they'll stamp my passport so I can show that to the Schengen that I'm out of the area and into Croatia.
If they don't, maybe you can ask them to.
Yeah.
Extremely grateful for the Schengen right now. God, it was so much easier.
We had to do this everywhere. It's a nightmare.
So now we've actually crossed the border to Croatia. Will got his passport stamp, which is very good, so that he can enter Schengen again. They did ask for our COVID test, but they only looked at one of them. Oh well, we're in Croatia.
We were going to do Split and Dubrovnik on our way down, but we didn't.
No.
And the reason for that is that we decided to come to Montenegro a few days early so that we could surprise my mum, who didn't know that we were going to be here until 3 days later. So if you want to see the surprise reunion, make sure to click subscribe and follow along, because that will be in the next video. But heading into Montenegro,
It was very stressful. We thought we'd cross the border.
we were kind of in a no man's land between Croatia and Montenegro.
Yeah. And the lady at the desk said passports. We handed her our passports, and she said car papers. And we were like, okay, here, because we thought, because I'd read that you needed this green card. It's an insurance thing, So we handed her the insurance thing, and she's like, yeah, that's fine, you can go. We're like, sweet.
When we handed the lady the car papers, she did look a bit confused when she handed them back to me, but she did hand them back and she let us through. So we were like, okay, cool. Then we got to the Montenegrin border and we handed over the paperwork and he goes, car papers. So we handed him the same insurance letter, car papers. So we handed him another letter, car papers. This guy is so direct and wanting something from us that we don't understand. So he wanted the registration papers. We didn't have them on us. We had all the other papers, but the registration papers in Sweden are usually electronic, so they're not something that you carry around with you, and they're not something that you need anywhere within the EU. So it doesn't matter if you're in the Schengen or outside of the Schengen, if they're part of the EU, you do not need this paper. Montenegro is not part of the EU.
Yeah.
Yet. He ended up saying, give us all your papers, hand me all of them, I'll look through. So he's looking through trying to...
We have about this many papers.
Yeah, so he spent a couple of minutes looking through them. He says, no, they're not here. And we said, well, can we just pull over to the side and check and have another look through and see if we can find what you're looking for. So he says, yes, go park up there and make sure you come back. So we go park up there and we couldn't find anything that would be what he wanted. So we went back to the, I went back and spoke to a really nice man who was, once again, very direct, but helpful. And he pretty much said, look, we need these papers and they need to be the original, so you need to go get them and bring them back to me. I think we were meant to do it the same day. We have to get them sent to Josie's house in Sweden. Then we need to get Josie's parents to send them to us here in Montenegro. So it will take a couple of weeks, but hopefully we won't get in trouble in the meantime.
If you're traveling by land, make sure you have the registration papers for your car with you.
And the insurance papers.
Yeah.
And you will be fine. But in regards to COVID, yeah, they wanted to see the certificate, and we were good to go, and they let us into the country, thank God, because we've got so many good videos to take here. I'm really excited to get out and start exploring this amazing country. It is nothing like any other European country I've been to, I can say that right now.
It doesn't really feel like Europe.
No, definitely does not. Keep in mind that this is all our experience. These things change constantly. So this was at the end of Feb that we've travelled, and this has been our experience, but you know, if you're travelling in 3-4 months time, things might have changed, hopefully for the better, but this is our experience.
It seems to be opening up for the better, all over Europe.
I hope that this video helped you.
Yeah.
If it did, hit the like button. If you want to see more,
please subscribe.
And we'll see you guys all again
in the next one. Bye.